Bellingham, Washington is the best kept secret in all of the land. And today I'm going to prove that to you by giving you the top 10 reasons people move to Bellingham. And people that live here are probably going to be mad that I created this video because I'm letting you know how awesome it is here. And once you see these top 10 reasons, you're going to want to move here too. At least that's my opinion. Okay, so let's start out with number 10 and work our way back to number 1. But before we do that, my name's Tim Cornwell. I have lived here all my life, this beautiful place. Oh, fresh air, beautiful water, the boats, and I am so excited to share my experience with you. I'm a real estate agent here in the Bellingham area, and I want to share with you all things about Bellingham so you can decide if this is the right area for you. And if you do want to move to the Bellingham area, where in Bellingham would you want to live and why? So stay tuned. Let's jump into our top 10 list. Now, number 10 could be really any area in the country, reasons people move. It's not really specific to Bellingham. And that is the 5 Ds: death, divorce, diapers, diamonds, and diplomas. So those are life events that occur that tend to generate a reason to move. Again, a death in the family, someone passes away, there's a ripple effect in life in those that are still living on what do we do with this house, or now I need to change my living situation because my loved one has passed away, or whatever. But that is a motivator for people to move. The other one is diapers. So suddenly you have diapers in your life. You have young kids that have been born and your family is growing. So a lot of times that is a motivation to make a move. The next one after that is divorce. So divorce, obviously, if you've got a marriage is splitting up, there can be a reason to do something different with real estate. Maybe the current house that is owned together needs to be sold for whatever reason. And then now you have one family and you have 2 individual people that need to find places to buy or rent. So that can be a motivator to move. The other one is diplomas, meaning that someone graduated from high school, someone graduated from college. And a lot of times that generates life change and a reason to move, either move away from somewhere or move to another city. And then the other D is diamonds, which is the opposite of divorce. Diamonds means, hey, we're going to get married. We're getting married and now we need to find a place to buy and live together. So those are the reasons that people will move to Bellingham or really any other part of the country. So that is reason number 10. Stay tuned for reason number 9. And when it comes to being environmentally aware, there's a real focus on sustainability. The city has invested a lot of money into putting bike lanes. There's a real commitment to creating bike lanes all around our major arterials and a real desire to get away from car dependency. So you'll see throughout town a lot of different bike lanes that have been constructed, very clearly marked. Intersections are designed to be biker friendly. So that's a big part of that environmental awareness and sustainability commitment. There's also trail systems everywhere throughout Bellingham. So whether you're biking, walking, or running, they've designed the city using the Parkways initiative to really be connected through trails and not be totally car dependent to get around town. So that's super cool. There's been a huge investment also in parks. So you'll see the existing parks very highly valued and used and maintained, as well as new parks. It seems like I see a new park coming online every year or so. So definitely a connection to nature and a place to experience all the beauty of this area is a high commitment in terms of their focus on budgeting and participation. You'll also see a lot of emphasis put on things like preserving salmon habitat and shorelines and trees, anything to do with nature. There's a lot of focus and energy put into preserving the natural resources that we have. You also see a big commitment to local, buying local, trying to support our local economy from within, try to avoid Amazon and Costco as much as possible. One way that gets done here in Bellingham is they do have farmers market every Saturday from 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. And you don't come to the farmers market just to buy some vegetables. It is really a community gathering where you get to see a lot of people, connect with people, meet people if you're new to the area. But there's a lot of different vendors there, people that are selling handmade crafts, beads and scarves and things like that. But then, of course, all local grown vegetables and berries. It's delicious. If you ever get a chance to come to the farmers market in Bellingham, you will not be disappointed. You know, one thing about Whatcom County and the Bellingham area is a big player is Western Washington University, where we have over 20,000 students a year. We have over 4,000 employees that work there. So there is a very high commitment to higher education here in our community. People value it very much. And so if you're someone that cares about education, it is not hard to find other people that think the same way. So education is definitely a high value and a connection point for people that want to move to Bellingham. And the last thing I'll mention that might bring people to Bellingham is the arts. And I'm actually right here in the arts district of Bellingham, or behind me is the old city hall built back in the late 1800s. And there is such a strong community here towards art. And actually my son-in-law is a local artist and he supports his family by doing art. So if you care about art and art is important to you, you have no problem finding connection and community here in the Bellingham area when it comes to art. So that is number 9 reason people move to Bellingham. Stay tuned for reason number 8. We keep moving up the list. Okay, this is number 8 on the list of reasons people move to Bellingham. So number 8 is climate, the weather here. And you know, the Pacific Northwest gets a bad rap for, hey, doesn't it always rain up there? How much snow do you guys get in the wintertime? And they kind of, you know, it's easy to focus on the negative. Well, I'll tell you what, from about mid-May till about mid-October, in my opinion, there is no better place to be on earth than right here in Bellingham, Whatcom County, Pacific Northwest area. It is absolutely gorgeous. And actually that tree right over my shoulder, my daughter got married here at this park. We're at Marine Park here in Bellingham, and we did an outdoor wedding, had a great time. You can actually do outdoor weddings in the state of Washington. Yes, it's true. And right here in Bellingham even. So we have a pretty moderate, mild climate. We don't have the extremes. So in the summertime, you know, if you hit the mid 80s, that's a hot day in Bellingham. Now, of course, there's the odd year that we got into the high 90s, maybe even broke 100 one time. But most of the time in the summer, you're looking at highs 70, 75 degrees, which is absolutely awesome. You know, sometimes in the summertime, you will get a little bit of rain on a day or two, but generally speaking, we don't get much rain at all in the summer. Depends year to year. Winter times, again, this last winter, we had a few snowflakes one day, that was it, and it didn't stick. But then there's been other winters where it got into the single digits on temperature and we had snow on the ground for maybe a week, week and a half. We don't really have a lot of snow removal equipment here. We do have some, so they keep the main streets, you know, cleared, but most people just call it a snow day and don't even bother with it when we do get a lot of snow. But generally speaking, winter times, in the wintertime, I just think, hey, 43 degrees and rain. That's really what happens all winter long. And it's pretty gray. We crave blue sky here. You get a blue sky day in the wintertime, and we're like, yes, we go outside and get crazy. There's nothing like skiing up in Mount Baker on a bluebird, beautiful sunny winter day up there. But we do have 4 distinct seasons. You know, summer is, hey, it's warm, long days. The sun, it doesn't get dark until like the sun goes down at maybe 9:30 and it stays light until close to 10 o'clock. It's nuts. But on the other end of the extreme, it gets light at about 4:30 in the morning. So those are some long days because we're so far north. Those are some long days of daylight. Now the opposite's true in the wintertime when we get a little cranky about it. When the sun goes down at 4:30, it doesn't get light in the morning until maybe 8 o'clock. And we're like, oh, can't wait till summer. But when we do get to summertime, it's so worth the wait of enduring the winter doldrums of clouds and rain and darkness. But you get through it, and you get used to it, you get resilient, you get the right equipment, the right gear, and you go outside and you do things anyway. There's things called headlamps that are amazing on the front of a mountain bike or on your helmet that you can go do
do your stuff any time of year. But yeah, the climate, in my opinion, it's hard to beat it. Yeah, there's other climates that might be more, warmer year round, but with the rain we get here, it creates so much green. Everywhere you look, it's green here in our area. So if you like that, and you like, the other thing about the rain is it does keep like the dust and the pollen down, which I like as well. So anyway, climate, I think, is a big reason people like to move here, because they're getting away from where they came from. Like, no hate on Texas, but I know people will come here from Texas and go, I can't take the heat anymore. And so if you are not loving your climate, you might want to consider Bellingham. Okay, so let's keep working our way up to number 1. Stay tuned. All right, as we continue our countdown of the top 10 reasons people move to Bellingham, let's take a look at reason number 7. Coming in at number 7 is people move here for work. Either they get a new job here in Whatcom County and they move to the area for work, or they've come here looking for work. That is one of the biggest drivers for people coming to this area. Now, the number 1 employer in Whatcom County is Western Washington University. They have about 4,100 people that work there. But right behind me is St. Joseph's Hospital, run by Peace Health, and they have just under 4,000 employees that work for them. They have medical facilities all around the Bellingham area. But people come here for other reasons as well, other big drivers in our economy for employment. One of them is the potential for remote work. Now, during the COVID years, that created a lot of opportunities for people to work outside of the office. And if you could work from home, where would you want to live? If you could live anywhere, well, a lot of people choose Bellingham because of so many great quality of life reasons. People would move to this location because I can work from my living room, I can work from my kitchen table. So remote work has been a big driver of bringing people to Bellingham because that option exists. Other things include maritime, anything related to Bellingham Bay or the San Juan Islands, or anything to do with shipping on ocean-going vessels. That's a driver for employment. The other thing is we're so close to the border, so anything to do with cross-border activities or international trade, those kind of things, that will bring a lot of people here to live in the area, including the border itself with customs and border patrol. I talk to a lot of people, help people buy and sell houses that work for the government related to border activities, and that is definitely brings people to the area. Let's see, what else? Oh, outdoor rec. So outdoor recreation, anything to do with what we love in outdoor rec, from mountain biking to kayaking to any kind of bicycling, running. There's a lot of different manufacturing companies that sprout up and manufacture this different equipment. So another employer is outdoor recreation. So anything to do with outdoor rec. So if you have a lot of excursions, like there's companies that take people on excursions up to Mount Baker, to summit Mount Baker, or throughout the San Juans on a kayak adventure. Or there's also different little manufacturing companies that sprout up that make kayaks or mountain bikes or different things used in the outdoor recreation. So that industry in and of itself, because of the different opportunities that afford people here in Whatcom County, it makes sense that you would have commerce that's generated from outdoor rec. Another one is we do have some bigger industrial. There are a couple of large refineries here in Whatcom County that generate a lot of employment for people. And then with that, there's a lot of ripple effect with engineering firms and subcontractors that work for those refineries as well. So that wraps up the big employers here in Whatcom County that people might relocate to come to work for. But there are tons of other jobs here in the area, from retail and different service industry jobs. But it's also, Whatcom County is a great incubator for small business, for entrepreneurs. So many entrepreneurs will come here with a vision, with a passion for what they want to create. And I'll tell you, one of those are craft breweries. I bet we have more craft breweries here in Whatcom County per capita than anywhere else on the planet. If you're thinking about moving to Bellingham and you need to find work, there's a lot of options available here in the Bellingham area.
I'm doing this very exciting location because I love this Bellingham sign. I don't know what it is about it. It just brings back a lot of memories, a lot of feelings. And that is what this next reason people move to Bellingham is all about. And I don't even know what number it is because I was so worried about getting across the street in traffic that I didn't look at what number is this on the list. But we're working towards the top 10 reasons people move to Bellingham. We're working towards number 1. This is not the number 1 reason, but this is a reason, and that is they're moving back to their roots. They're moving back here to Bellingham, Whatcom County, this area, because they have some memories. They grew up here. They remember the sign. They remember their great time at Western or fireworks over Bellingham Bay, or learning how to water ski up at Lake Whatcom, or skiing up on Mount Baker, or cutting down their own Christmas tree out in Deming and bringing it home. Whatever the core memory is that people might have, that brings them back to Bellingham. I've met so many people, I've met and I meet so many people that say, yeah, I just had to get back to Bellingham. You know, we've lived in other places around the country, and nothing ever matched the experience that we have here in Bellingham. So if you're watching this and you've got some core memories back from Bellingham, you know, you might end up coming back. All right, so stay tuned for our next one on the list. Don't know what number it is, but we are working to number 1. We're now going to talk about reason number 5 that people move to the Bellingham area. And that's right behind me, Western Washington University. Now, I attended Western back in the 80s, and I originally grew up down in Mount Vernon, which is about 30 miles south of Bellingham. Went to school here. This is also where I met my wife. She lived in the Seattle area, moved up here, finished school together, and then we got married. And we said, you know, we love Bellingham. Let's figure out a way to stay here. So we did, we settled, raised our kids. Now we have grandkids here because we love this area so much. And there's about 15,000 students that go to Western. There's about 2,000 employees that work at the university as well. So students come to Bellingham to go to school, and then employees get hired and live and work in Bellingham at the university as well. So it's a great magnet drawing people into the Bellingham area. It's a strong reason people will move here, and we get a lot of people that graduate and decide to stick around, or they'll graduate, they move away, but then they come back, because once you get Bellingham in your bones, in your blood, you got to come back. You want to come back. Everyone says, I miss Bellingham so much, and eventually they come back. So Western is a great reason people move to Bellingham, and that's why it's number 5. Stay tuned for reason number 4.
All right, we are working our way to number 1 on the top 10 reasons that people move to Bellingham. Right now, we're going to talk about number 4, which is they moved to Bellingham for quality of life. And I'm here in Fairhaven right now. I'm at the Fairhaven Green. It's 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. It is quiet. I mean, to me, quality of life is peace and quiet and not rushed, chill, hanging out. I can see people walking around, having some drinks over at the restaurant across the street. It's just a very nice spring evening here in Bellingham. So quality of life. Let me tell you Bellingham's quality of life, the Bellingham area, and you see if it aligns with who you are, because I think this draws a lot of people into our area. For the first and foremost quality of life thing in my mind is the immediate access to nature. Like that immediate access to outdoor recreation, to mountains, to oceans, to rivers, to creeks, to fields. I mean, it is right there. You can ski up on Mount Baker and swim in the ocean the same day, within a couple hours, really. And it's crazy how much outdoor rec activities there are right immediately out our front door. The other thing is just quiet here. I don't feel like it's noisy in Bellingham. I feel like this is a quiet place to live. It's not like probably the North Pole quiet, but I think overall from all the places I visited, it's a pretty quiet place to live. The other one is it's just not crowded. I don't feel crowded here. I mean, there are times, of course, you can get into a place where there's a big event happening and it feels crowded, but generally speaking on the day-to-day, it's not a crowded feeling place. It feels like we got some room to like spread out a little bit, not being pushed and shoved all the time. It also has very clean air. That's one of the things I love about it here. It is just so clean. I mean, the air is clean, the water's clean. It is really just a clean, healthy place to live. And for me, that adds quality of life. You know, and our crime rate is really not that stellar. If you look down, you know, if you go to Google and say, hey, what's the crime rate in the Bellingham area compared to anywhere else in the world? It's not like the best, it's not like the worst, but I think it feels safe. To me, it just feels like a safe place to live and work. And the other thing I like is there's really not a lot of industrial areas. I mean, there are a couple of oil refineries out in the county, but really you don't see a lot of factories, smokestacks, big warehouses. It's smaller cottage style businesses. And with that comes less traffic and less commute times. I mean, one of the things that anytime I go to Seattle or Vancouver or I'm visiting my parents in Phoenix or in LA, it's like, how do you guys deal with this traffic? This is a nightmare. We just took a trip to San Diego, love San Diego, but trying to get around San Diego was an absolute nightmare. We couldn't wait to get back to Bellingham where we don't have to deal with that. So to kind of sum it all up in quality of life, I would say that Bellingham is kind of like an indie record label. It's the indie record label of cities. It is this very independent feeling. It's not corporate at all. It's just got this great, authentic, organic vibe. And like I said, it feels safe, it feels clean, it feels healthy, it feels connected. I think a lot of people move here for quality of life reasons, and that's why it's number 4 on our list. Stay tuned for number 3. Thank you for hanging with me through this list because we are working our way towards the top. We are up to number 3, but before I jump into number 3, I just want to say my name's Tim Cornwell. I have lived here in the Bellingham area my entire life, and I am so excited to be able to share my knowledge and experience with you. I'm a local real estate agent, and I'm absolutely passionate about all things Bellingham being beyond and helping people find a great place to live and locate here in our great area. So if you are thinking about moving to this area, you want to just have a conversation, if there's anything I can do to answer any questions, help you, whether you're ready to move in 6 days, 6 weeks, or 6 years, doesn't matter. Reach out to me. Down below is my contact information. Feel free to call, text, email, DM, whatever works for you. And then you can even schedule an appointment on I have a link for an appointment scheduled to set up a Zoom call or whatever works for you. So, all right, so let's get back into it. Here we are, top 10 reasons people move to Bellingham, and we are at number 3. People move to Bellingham because of its location. Okay, so let's talk about where are we? We're in the state of Washington. We're on the West Coast. We're in the Pacific Northwest. We're in the Puget Sound. We're between Seattle and Vancouver, BC. We're about 100 miles north of Seattle. I don't know, we're probably about 40 miles south of Vancouver. We're probably like 15 miles away from the actual border itself. So this is an incredibly convenient location for people to be at. A lot of people that somehow have some operation or connection to Alaska will end up in Bellingham. People, Seattle, Bellingham connection, Seattle international connections, Seattle, Vancouver, BC connections. It really ties in well for people that need to be into those locations but want to be grounded and landed in Bellingham. So we have lots of different transportation options here. Right behind me is the Bellingham Cruise Terminal, and at this cruise terminal, there is a ferry, Alaska State Highway ferry that shuttles people back and forth between Bellingham and Alaska. Right behind me, you can't see it, is the Amtrak station. So we do have a train that comes in and out of here. It's also a Greyhound station over there. And the Bellingham Airport is just on the other side of Bellingham Bay. So there's a lot of convenient ways to get in and out of Bellingham other than just driving your car. Of course, Interstate 5 does go right through town. But this is such a great location that people want to be in proximity to Vancouver, BC, or Alaska, or Seattle, but they don't want to live in those cities. They want to be like, is there a better place with a higher quality of life, less rushed, more safe, that's got a better commute, better restaurants, and Bellingham fits the bill. So if you wanted to be in this location, if you always wanted to be in the Pacific Northwest, up somewhere in Seattle, Vancouver, BC area, Bellingham, Washington is definitely a place you want to put at the top of your list. Okay, so that is number 3. Let's go on to number 2.
All right, are you ready for number 2? on our top 10 lists of the reasons people move to Bellingham. So number 2 is huge. It's outdoor recreation. There are so many different ways to recreate here in the Bellingham area. And I'm going to break it down into 2 categories. There's recreation you do on the water, and then recreation you do in the mountains. Those are 2 main resources and environments that people love to recreate. So the first one is water recreation. And obviously behind me, Squalica Marina, you can see all the different boating types there. And then just as I look out to my left, there's Bellingham Bay, looking out to the San Juan Islands. And there's actually 175 islands that make up the San Juan Island archipelago. I think I said that right. And what's so cool is there is every boating type you could ever imagine out there on Bellingham Bay. Kayaks, power boats, yachts, catamarans, rowboats, all these different types. So when it comes to being out on saltwater, there isn't a single type of boating activity that you won't find here in the Bellingham area. Now, there's also lakes. We have lakes and we have rivers and we have streams. We have Lake Whatcom, we have Lake Samish. There's also some smaller lakes. So in those lakes, obviously, like there's fishing, but there's also like water skiing and wake surfing. And then I go out and do a little e-foiling, like it's a surfboard with an electric motor and you can kind of e-foil around on the lake. That's super fun. There's rowing, like crew. Other things you can do on the lake is kayaking and canoeing. Again, so many different opportunities. Then on the rivers, like the main rivers, the Nooksack River, whitewater rafting is a thing there, inner tubing, obviously kayaking and canoeing as well. So it's just so much fun. And actually there is a race that starts up on Mount Baker and goes all the way down to Bellingham Bay. It happens every spring. It's called the Ski to Sea. And so you start out that race skiing up at Mount Baker, then you road bike down, and then you run, and then you get on a mountain bike, and then eventually you're out on a kayak on Bellingham Bay. It's a relay. Each person takes a different leg of the race. Super fun, but it just shows you the diversity of activities that you can encounter in one day right here in the Bellingham area. Okay, so now when we look at mountains, Mount Baker, again, all kinds of skiing, all kinds of snow activities, mountaineering. And as you move down below the snow level, you get into your mountain biking, your hiking, your camping. As you get down below that, then you get into more of your like road biking and running and just hiking and walking. There's so many different ways you can experience Bellingham area on foot. Okay, so that is number 2 on our list. Hang on, we're almost to number 1. All right, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Are you excited?
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
Okay, at least one of them is excited. So we have been working through the list. Do you know what kind of list we've been working through? We've been working through the top 10 reasons people move to the Bellingham area. Give me a woo.
I don't know.
Okay. So we've been working through the list, top 10 reasons people move to the Bellingham area. And I have a couple of special helpers to do this last one. The number 1 reason people move to Bellingham. And what's your name?
Cooper.
Cooper. And what's this guy's name next to you?
Jack. Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
Jack. And who am I?
Poppy.
Oh, these are my grandsons. Well, where did you guys used to live before you moved up to the Bellingham area?
Linden. No, Washington.
Where did you live in Washington?
In a house.
In a house? Yeah, but do you remember what town? Do you remember when we went and got the 7-Eleven Slurpee? What town was that in?
Bellingham.
That was in Bellingham. That was not quite in Bellingham. So the number 1 reason that people move to the Bellingham, Washington area is because they want to be closer to family. And that happened in my family. These 2 little guys, and they also have a little brother named Hudson who's taking a nap. These 2 little guys live down in Bonnie Lake, and their parents, my daughter and my son-in-law, wanted to be close to family so bad that they figured out a way to find work up here in Bellingham, and they moved How long have you been here in Linden?
I don't know.
How long?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's been about 2 years. Yeah, it's been about 2 years. So they've been here 2 years, and we could not be happier as grandparents to be close to you, because that used to be a long drive. So if you are thinking about moving to the Bellingham, Washington area to be closer to family, I personally can vouch that it is a great decision to make. So that's the number one reason. Thank you so much for being part of this countdown. Again, my name's Tim Cornwell, local real estate agent. Would love to be able to help you make that move to the Bellingham, Washington area, to be closer to family, or any other reasons we talked about today. My contact information is below. Be sure to like the channel, subscribe, and hit the notifications button if you'd like to get more content from me about Bellingham and beyond. Say goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.